Fruity Knitting. I'm Andrea.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Madeline.
And Fruity Knitting is a 90-minute program that brings you knitting inspiration from all around the world, as well as some extra little snippets of travel and history and storytelling that we really hope just adds some extra joy to your life and brings a smile to your face. Now, this video is not a normal episode. It's just going to be a very quick update on Andrew's current health situation. So if you're new to Fruity Knitting, we have a really great archive of 108 episodes for you to look through and explore. And we think like every episode is a video magazine. So there's lots of different segments. We cover lots of different topics, feature fantastic artists from the knitting community from all around the world. And there's also tutorials there. Now, many of us are still or renewed in a semi-lockdown. So we suggest doing a little bit of virtual travel, and you could try that with episode 87, where we take you to the Shetland Wool Week. That is an episode filled with absolutely stunning scenery. You'll absolutely love it. And there's also great traditional knitting there. So there's very fine, exquisite Shetland lace knitting in that episode, as well as Fair Isle knitting. Or you could try episode 74, where we cover the very last Edinburgh Yarn Festival and also interview the designer Jennifer Steingass. And she creates the most beautiful stranded yoke sweaters. So that's two suggestions from us, and we'll put the links to both of those episodes in the description box below. But of course, if you're new, you can just meander through the whole channel and watch whatever takes your fancy.
Yeah. So before I start, I have to apologize for my voice. I'm pretty rough, so I'll just have to ask you to be patient with that. The health situation that Andrea mentioned in the introduction, in case you don't know already, is that I've been diagnosed with a brain tumor, and it's in the brain stem and in the cerebellum. Can't be operated. It's all really serious, unfortunately. So in the video today, I wanted to do two things. The second thing is to give you an update on my condition, but the first thing that I really have to do is to say thank you to so many different people. First of all, I would like to say thank you to everyone who has been including us in their prayers. As you can imagine, this is a huge thing for us to deal with, a huge challenge, and we are really depending on our faith to help us get through this. So knowing that there are people all around the world praying for us, including us in their prayers and their thoughts, sending their best wishes, is really a huge source of strength for us. One particular point that we are praying on right now is in making choices about what we should do. We've consulted with doctors and we've selected treatments, but in addition to that, we really, and this particularly for me, have to figure out what I actually do on a day-to-day basis, because there's sort of, I figure we need to have some sort of normal life and some sort of routine and keep things going in that way. But I also need to think about the possibility that I could become incapacitated in some way. So really the bad scenarios and how we would cope with that. So that's just one point that we're really looking at the moment and trying to pray for guidance on that. We have received a lot of messages from all sorts of people telling us about their similar situations, their similar experiences, and that might be cancer or some other serious illness or some other challenge. And these messages are really incredibly touching. For me, there are always messages of courage and generosity, and there's trust and love and understanding in there. And they've been incredibly uplifting. And so we really appreciate those. And we also include everyone who's going through anything like this in our prayers, and also the carers and the loved ones who are so heavily affected by this sort of thing. We've also received a lot of messages with suggestions of doctors and clinics and different treatments, and we've had all sorts of different offers, including accommodation and all sorts of things. We are working through all of those suggestions. We haven't responded to everyone, and we haven't actually acted on everything. We're trying to maintain a list, and we'll work through that as we get a chance. But we really appreciate everyone taking the time to do that sort of thing and the generosity that's been shown there. We have also received financial support. We have the PayPal link where people, many people have made one-off donations. small amounts and large amounts. We appreciate every donation in this way. We know people have very different situations and we consider all of them very generous, and it is definitely making a difference and taking the stress off our situation right now. So thank you to everyone who's done that. We have a lot of new patrons, which is great. This is how we make our living. This is our entire business, our entire livelihood. So we're very grateful for that. We hope that you're enjoying the 108 episodes that we have out right now, getting your value out of that. And we are aiming to bring out the next episode as soon as we can. But thank you for supporting us that way. And we really have to say a particular thank you to all of our existing patrons, or many of whom have increased their level of support, which is incredibly generous.
Extraordinarily generous.
Yeah.
And we're very touched.
Yeah, really.
It's such faithful support.
Really appreciate that. That's really good. The other sort of group of things or of actions that I have to mention is sort of different things. We know people have been donating profits from yarns and patterns, and we know there's one book that's made a very generous donation from profits. Also, there have been different people mentioning us on podcasts or blogs or Instagram or whatever, just to get the word out and to let people know about our situation, and also just about the show, which is all really helpful, and we really appreciate that. So just for all those things, we can't thank everyone individually, but we hope that we express our gratitude here in this video. Thank you so much for all of that support. And just very quickly, we do have the two things. We have Patreon, which is really where we encourage you to support the production of the show if you're enjoying it. And if you would like to make a one-off donation towards our extra medical costs, then there's the PayPal link, and we'll have both of those links. I think you've put them up on the screen, and we'll have them in the description below, or you can find them both at fruityknitting.com.
Yeah, and it's great to have Madeline with us. She came a week
I've
ago.
come back from Orm for a short time. I also want to say that I'm really grateful for how much you care about my dad and about us as a family. It's quite amazing to me, and I just hope that you and your families are happy and healthy and loving life as we all should. I personally still struggle at times just to quite comprehend the reality of our situation. I suppose that's just my coping mechanism. But I'm doing my best to spend as much time as I can here in Offenbach so I can help my parents in whatever way they need me to help them. And in doing so, I've been practicing putting the needs of others before my own, which both of you are really good at. And I'm very proud of you, especially Mum, because Mum has really kept strong and been investing all her energy and finding ways to get Dad healthy again, so we can see him out there on the extreme knitting, hiking. Yeah.
Just on my health condition, I have to say, for the symptoms, the dizziness and balance problems, and also the fatigue, they have all got a bit worse in the last few weeks, which is a bit of a worry. I've also noticed that I really have no appetite whatsoever, so eating is just a chore, and I am losing, or I've lost a fair bit of weight, which is also a bit of a concern. I'm trying not to be too worried about this. I mean, I'm taking it seriously, but I figure we've got a destination in mind, which is me being strong and healthy again, and I'm trying to focus on heading towards that, and not being scared, I guess, by any short-term developments. I'm also very aware that the symptoms that I have are, again, not trivializing them, but I don't have any pain, and I haven't had to go through any major operations like so many people do, and I do consider myself fortunate for that. On my emotional state, I think I'm doing pretty well. I'm positive and determined, which is really good. I do have to say I'm so grateful to have Andrea with me through this. She's been great.
I don't feel like I've been great. I feel like you've been great.
Has, in so many different ways, in just doing things that have to be done. I can't drive anymore, so anything like that, I can't ride my bike. So just practical things, researching things, and just being there as company has been so good. And also Madeline, now that she's here in Offenbach, it's really great to have them there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say a few things, like expand on what Andrew said earlier, and that is that many people have told us about their recovery stories, which have been very encouraging. And Andrew says, I've been great. I feel like I've been really weak. He's had a great attitude, which is really good. But when I have felt in a lot of despair, I have looked up cancer survival stories myself, because where people have healed against all of the odds, and I found that to help me hold on to hope and not to panic too much. I still do panic, but it helps me sort of alleviate the panic somewhat. And I also want to repeat that we are so appreciative of the wonderful comments that were written on our last episode where we announced Andrew's health condition, and also on our Instagram post. So many loving thoughts, well wishes, and very beautiful prayers were shared. And I think on the last video there was around 2,300 or so comments, and well over 1,000 comments on the Instagram post. And when I have needed extra consolation and strength, I have been reading through those comments, and I've found them very valuable. So I truly thank you for taking the time and doing that. That's been really great. It is a really bizarre reality to have a YouTube channel, because so many people know you, even though on a day-to-day level, your life could actually be pretty humble and, even fairly isolated, which I would say ours is in general. And so it has felt like an absolute miracle to have prayers for Andrew coming, and loving thoughts and well wishes from all around the world. And this is another bizarre kind of thought, but it reminds me of the gamma knife radiation therapy, which prior to this situation we had absolutely no idea existed. And I know there are health professionals in our viewership, so excuse my really crude way of describing this therapy, but in this therapy you have many, and I don't know how many, maybe it's 100 or it could be more than that, very fine beams of radiation that are coming from all around the outside of the head, and each beam in itself is too weak to really damage the brain tissue. But where they all unite together at that point, which hopefully is the tumour, it's really powerful, and it can destroy the tumour cells. So for me, I just keep thinking that we have all of these loving thoughts and beautiful prayers coming from all around the globe, focusing in on Andrew, and that's a really powerful healing thing. And I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart, because that's a real privilege. And we're aware that, there's so many people out there who are struggling and suffering like us, or way more, and they could actually be alone, and they don't have loving thoughts and prayers coming. So I just wanted to add to this that, if anyone in our viewership is having a really tough time right now, that maybe you might want to just go and read through the comments and just feel the loving thoughts and the beautiful prayers, and just feel like they're meant for you as well. You could even sort of put your own name in where Andrew's is. You don't mind sharing? Because I think essentially, at our very essence, we are all connected. So I think that when you are sending out loving thoughts and prayers for another person, you actually get sort of healed and blessed in the process of doing that. So sharing prayers and thoughts around is a really good thing on a practical level. And so help yourself if you're having a tough time. So I think that's about it for today, because we're all pretty teary and we want to sort of keep the spirits up. To be honest, it's been a really tough few weeks, and Andrew's energy is right down, and he's not able to do much work at all, and I haven't been able to do much work. So I can't say when the next episode's coming out, but we do plan for another episode to come out, and we'll do it as soon as we can. So thanks for being with us again.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.